high-stress individual, aren't you, Ensign?
What gives you that idea?
Don't worry, Ensign. I used to be a low-stress type, too, until I started joining these landing parties. Everything's okay. A minor strain on the liver and pancreas, but nothing that can't be treated. Jim, I'm detecting a slight strain on your pectoral muscles and your triceps. You didn't happen to do some rock climbing on your last shore leave after you fell, did you?
Well,
I told you to take it easy.
damn it, Bones, you're my doctor, not my babysitter.
Perfect readings for you. They'd be a disaster for anyone else, but you Vulcans are notoriously unique.
Doctor, I do not understand why you find my anatomy a source of annoyance.
If you were a doctor, you would understand. Well, it's certainly not organic. The only organisms that register on my tricorder are us, or in that building.
You need not coerce me into doing my duty.
Wait a minute. I'm on your side.
It's bad enough I have to transport down here, but now I'm being shot.
You know, mutiny will not look good on your record.
Doesn't do anything special for me, Captain.
Captain, may I suggest we continue with our mission?
I'm a doctor, not a yard worker.
That would not be practical, Captain.
Not meaning to be insolent, sir, but I'd need the strength of Samson or the wisdom of Solomon to be able to do that.
Male human, good physical condition. Nothing I didn't already know. Male Vulcan humanoid hybrid, excellent physical condition. Annoying obsession with logic.
Somehow, Doctor, I think you have made less than objective interpolations of your data.
Young human male with excited heart rate and blood pressure. You need to take better care of yourself, Ensign.
I'll be fine, Doctor.
Human male, aging gracefully. Annoyed because people should listen to his advice more often.
I don't see that on the tricorder.
Jim, I give up.
Don't I get a blindfold first?
I've seen insubordination before, but this is ridiculous.
It appears that my belief that this mission could be accomplished without violence is in error. I had not thought of making the array appear as weathered as the rocks, but then I rely on logic to govern my actions. Destroying the control mechanism is not in the best interests of this mission.
Strikes me this place is hot enough already, thanks.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out. What does it say, Bones?
It says you'll live to be 120 if you don't blow yourself up. Let's try this on someone else, shall we? It says you're suffering from exceptional epidermal growth on top of your ears.
Let me guess. I'm overstressed?
Yep.
Don't shoot me. I don't really want to die on this rock.
I'm a doctor, damn it, not a target.
While shooting might relieve what emotional beings might refer to as the tedium of this planet, I doubt it will further our mission.
Please don't point that thing at me, sir. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Maybe we'll let Spock work with the controls.
It's interesting that the control mechanism seems to have lasted as long as the actual array without taking damage.
Interesting controls, right, Spock?
Fascinating, Captain.
I'm surprised at the high degree of engineering evidenced by this array.
The array is a precision instrument that shows a high degree of machining.
A metal this durable should be used in reconstructive joint surgery.
If I had built an array this solid, I would have scored much better on my SETI project and would have gotten more than old Tellarite Sports broadcasts on it. I wonder if there is any fossilized life in this rock formation.
As Freud might say, sometimes a rock is just a rock.
A standard volcanic rock, registering 3.5 on the Mohs hardness scale.
I really don't think this is the sort of place that would be suited to resort traffic. These rocks would strip the hide off a Horta. Kirk to Enterprise.
Enterprise to Captain. Mr. Scott wishes to know if you're ready to beam up.
Not yet, Uhura. Kirk out.
This tricorder seems to be affected by some of the fluctuations in the ionosphere. I guess it's sensitive to scientific phenomena, or the people who study it.
What does it say? What does it say?
It says that you shouldn't be so anxious.
Very funny, Doctor.
This tricorder seems to be affected by some of the fluctuations in the ionosphere. I guess it's sensitive to scientific phenomena, or the people who study it. What's this? Oh, it's just a tricorder glitch.
I hardly see this as the logical time for the application of violence, especially against me.
I'm always the one who gets shot. Can't you shoot someone else for a change?
Sure, shoot me now. Just hope you don't need my services later.
Shooting me is not a good career move, you realize. Whoever made these arrays, they made them to last. Spock should know how it works.
Get Spock to look at it.
I don't see any adjustment mechanism on the array. It must be fixed to send and receive from a geosynchronous orbiting satellite.
Or to pick up and send signals to a ship that knows the location of these arrays. We did not detect any satellite in orbit, Captain.
It could be cloaked. Kirk to Enterprise.
Yes, Captain.
Scan our area and see if you can locate any hidden or cloaked satellites.
It's being done now, sir. We find a neutrino beam being bent towards your position somewhere above you, but we can't find anything doing it. We'll keep looking.
If you find anything, let me know immediately. Kirk out.
The array dish is quite sturdy and doubtless still functional.
Well, if these readings are correct, Spock, you'll either drop dead in the next 5 minutes or you'll give birth to triplets.
You can spare the attempts at humor, Doctor.
You seem to be healthy, Jim, but don't worry, I'm sure something will turn up on your next physical.
I'm sure it will.
According to this thing, I'm getting older.
I believe the instrument is making an accurate assessment, Doctor.
Damn it, even when he's not trying to insult me, he's insulting me. You seem to be under stress, Ensign.
I'll be fine, Doctor.
This phaser seems to be in operational order.
Wait a minute. I'm on your side.
It's bad enough I have to transport down here, but now I'm being shot.
Violence is not the solution to our problems.
I'm not sure how to turn it off, Captain, much as I'd like to.
What do you want me to do with this projection, Jim?
That would be a futile action, Captain. This is a splendid three-dimension projection of a computer-generated figure. The program and the equipment is very sophisticated.
We Alphans seek to provide technical perfection.
Whoa, my hand went right through it. It's a projection.
Young male human in good physical condition. Young male human in good physical condition. Vulcan male in excellent physical condition. I'm fine, Jim.
Does this mean I'm not getting a promotion?
Testing the old law of physician heal thyself is not a good idea right now.
Violence is unnecessary, Captain.
Practice your fast draws another time and place, okay?
Would a test of the disruptive ability of your weapon on projections produce any unexpected results?
Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it?
The Omegans seek our destruction. They cling to the ridiculous belief that life began with their advent into the universe. From countless studies, we know that life existed well before they appeared. We know this because we sought refuge from the violence of their invasion. A clear sign that we predate them.
There are many accounts on many worlds of angels casting devils from heaven. Perhaps this is a twisted retelling of these stories.
Mr. Jons, avoiding the fallacy of linking two disparate and separate phenomena is advised at this juncture.
I thought you were sentient creatures, unlike the Omegans, but this is not clear. Our enemies fail to acknowledge the veracity of our claim to precedence, despite the evidence. Go to them. See for yourself, then do what must be done. Be warned, Azrah is a persuasive deceiver.
So when do the wicked witches and goblins show up?
That's telling him, Captain.
Such contempt is undeserved. You must already serve the others.
Your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here.
The emergency does exist, I can assure you. I am Vizznr, dominator of the Alphans. We face extinction because of the behavior of the Omegans.
Omegans. Our instruments have given us no indication of fighting or conflict or, frankly, any civilization at all. How could we have missed a hostile force operating against you?
The Omegans seek our destruction.
Covetous behavior? This barren rock is nothing to covet.
It seems to me probable that nothing I have said will convince you of the gravity of the situation. You must speak to the enemy and discuss their position. I'm not confident this will reflect well upon my people, but I will not restrain you. Go and return if you are able.
Do we have enough senior officers for court-martial?
Captain, what are you doing with that phaser? Take it easy. Don't make any sudden moves.
Logic suggests that you desist.
I'm your captain. If you shoot me, who will lead the Enterprise?
I am the second in command, Captain.
We'd better not shoot the captain.
I can appreciate apprehension, though I hope this is not indicative of xenophobia on your part.
Captain, we sense that you're close to one of the life forms.
Affirmative, Lieutenant.
Mr. Scott wishes to know whether you're in trouble, sir.
Tell Scotty to stop worrying. We're fine. Kirk out. So where's the emergency?
I am Azrah, Prefect of the Omegans. We are in mortal peril, a small community that fights the sublimation of the world by our evil counterparts.
We'll do anything we can to help.
Ensign, I'll give the orders.
Sorry, sir, but we've got to save them.
Fighting? So far, all we have seen is a barren planet where the most active things are projections.
Your lack of perception is not my concern. My people are facing apocalypse and extinction. The enemy is evil and must be stopped, lest darkness fall over the world. I suppose, human, that you will listen to Vizznr's lies. If you believe his deceit, all is lost. Still, I cannot stop you. Go. Return when you are able.
Why not try talking with your enemies instead of expunging them? We found peace is a more effective tool for survival than war.
Your lack of perception is not my concern.
Our instruments have given us no indications of hostilities or even anyone else here that opposes you. Who are you talking about?
I speak of the Alphans, of course.
Our Prime Directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise.
You imperil your soul by conversing with the enemy, that sugar-tongued Vizznr. I cannot protect you, but I do not imagine I can dissuade you either. Go, do what you must. I do not have that much time, but will be here if you seek to comply with my request.
You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story.
You imperil your soul by conversing with the enemy.
All right, I know you're just a projection. Let's speak with your real masters.
Such language indicates an unwillingness to compromise. You must already serve the others.
You want to return to a time before the invasion. But how do you know what that truly means?
We know we came from.
If you're so logical, why can't you find a peaceful solution? Can't you find similarities with the Omegans? Something that can build a bridge between your cultures?
How can their concerns match ours when they reach conclusions based on superstition and a document which is largely allegorical in content?
Logic, when applied to your arguments and theirs, suggests that you have had the same experience. The two of you are united in a common drive to attain an end. Your mutual distrust reflects a fear of facing your destiny. Realizing your full potential will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us, meet the Omegans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
Not a bad psychoanalysis, Jim. Freud would be proud.
Your position is unassailable.
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are?
How can their concerns match ours?
You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground.
How can their concerns match ours?
My request.
There's no need to leave. We've already talked with Vizznr. I have to say that I find many of your claims insupportable.
Insupportable? How can you defend a race whose very existence is based upon deceit and foul lies?
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it?
We have sought every opportunity for peace, but none is possible. Or can you not see that?
What I see is a group calling themselves morally superior, yet a group that acts in a venal manner. What you have failed to see is that your attitudes are mirrors of each other. As shadow is drawn from light, so light needs shadow to define it.
Captain, the existence of evil does not justify it.
Quiet, Ensign. If you would stop being so selfish and were willing to give of yourself, much as you ask us to give of ourselves, you can find a solution to this problem.
It will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us. Meet the Alphans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
The persuasiveness of your...
If you're so perfect, how come you need our help?
We know we came first.
You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
We know we came...
Frankly, Azrah, Vizznr is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic.
I believe the correct phrase is paranoia with delusions and borderline schizophrenia.
Thank you, Bones. As he said, you have nothing to fear from the Alphans.
Nothing to fear? They are our opposites. They are evil and base. They would consume us, destroy us if given a chance. They came after us and covet what we possess. We could live in harmony with them, but they could not do the same with us. It is impossible. They must be destroyed.
Captain, this being has more experience with Vizznr than we do. How can we assume that Vizznr is not destructive?
You maintain that you Omegans were created first, but you offer no proof of this assertion. How do you know it?
We know we came.
I hear you mouth words that elevate your kind above the Alphans, but I have seen no action to confirm this. We humans have a saying: actions speak louder than words.
We have sought every opportunity for peace.
For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach.
Such practices are lost on creatures so vile. They are jealous usurpers, who came after we did to this world and have envied and hated us for all time. They are the ones who are unwilling to live in peace, and for that, they must be destroyed.
He's right, Captain. If we allow Vizznr to destroy Azrah, then Vizznr will become a threat to the Federation.
I do not see the logic in that.
You and the Alphans are different, but when two races get together and overcome their differences, they can achieve much more than either one can on their own.
We have sought every opportunity for peace.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Omegans a fanatical race, uninterested in anything but fulfilling some self-contradictory messianic destiny for themselves? I assume they filled your heads with their warped theology.
Frankly, Vizznr, Azrah is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be.
We were not fooled by your lies about him, demon.
Ensign Jons is overstating his point. Azrah's enthusiasm for his position did not bring with it a skewing of perspective that places him outside the range of reality.
Azrah is capable of reason and tolerance. You can make peace with the Omegans.
Peace? They want us dead. From the moment of their invasion, they have desired our destruction. The only chance for our survival is a return to the time before the invasion, which means their death.
You want to return to a time before the invasion, but how do you know what that truly means?
We know we came first because they invaded us. An invasion suggests they came to take away that which we possessed. Clearly you can see that.
How do you know they didn't exist on this world before you encountered them?
Do you further suppose they came first and we invaded them?
I see there are only single-celled organisms here, each with a defect. Perhaps at one time, the Alpha and Omega life forms were united. A strong, viable species that became divided. Only by reuniting can you hope to survive, and only through mutual cooperation and our help can you reunite.
Captain, this thing is evil. We can't unite them.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
If you're so logical, why can't you find a peaceful solution? Can't you find similarities with the Omegans? Something that can build a bridge between your cultures?
How can their concerns match ours when they reach conclusions based on superstition and a document which is largely allegorical in content?
Logic, when applied to your arguments and theirs, suggests that you have had the same experience. The two of you are united in a common drive to attain an end. Your mutual distrust reflects a fear of facing your destiny. Realizing your full potential will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us, meet the Omegans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
Not a bad psychoanalysis, Jim. Freud would be proud.
Your position is unassailable.
Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all.
Are you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are?
How can their concerns match up?
You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground.
How can their concerns match ours?
You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept?
We know we came first because they invaded us.
Ensign, let Dr. McCoy try that troublesome sequence.
I can do the job, sir, if I can have some peace and quiet here.
Mr. Jons, I think I'm getting a clear picture here of your difficulties. Do you realize that insubordination is an offense punishable by a court-martial?
I might lose my career, but at least I'll be able to sleep at night.
Unable to sleep? McCoy's analysis seems to indicate these two life forms need each other. Both life forms agree. What about that would cause you to lose sleep?
Captain, if I do what you want me to, the Omegans will die. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's light and goodness embodied in a single glorious entity. How could any man of conscience want to destroy it?
You're not being asked to destroy them, Ensign. You're being asked to let them reach their greatest potential. You're not being asked to make a moral decision. You're being asked by both sides to help them.
But, sir, I clearly saw beauty and ugliness, good and evil. Combining them would be the most immoral act in genetics since Sing.
Ensign, these Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. Those projections are only constructs. You're a geneticist. Examine them yourself. Could their DNA produce creatures like Azrah and Vizznr?
Single cells. You're right.
Your beliefs are misapplied here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures no more capable of consciousness than a tribble.
Single cells. You're right.
Even if the projection should be taken at face value, both sides have agreed to this. Examine it with your instruments, then make your own conclusions, can't you?
Single cells. You're right.
Ensign, Starfleet respects philosophical beliefs, as do I. But I don't tolerate officers who assume that their private beliefs allow them to disregard my orders without consulting me.
I regret my attempt to mislead you. I will accept whatever punishment you feel is necessary.
What is it you think I'm asking you to do, Ensign?
You don't understand, Captain. Look at the Alphans and look at the Omegans. There's so much evil in the universe. You're asking me to destroy a race of good and beauty by mixing their genetics with something ugly, something evil. I can't do it.
Ensign, you are here as a genetic engineer, not as a philosopher. I expect my orders to be obeyed, and if you have a problem with them, I don't expect to be deliberately misled.
I regret my attempt to mislead.
I could really use a Tellarite security officer right now.
I regret my attempt to mislead you.
You take a new sample from the replicator, which feels oddly chilly and lifeless in your hands.
I guess we'll call this new life form the Gammans.
Why not? Makes sense to me. Something's wrong here. The creatures are malformed and appear to be feeding upon each other.
This colony of creatures appears unviable.
You took it in, but there are problems. The malformed creatures are feeding upon each other and destroying the colony.
Life energy levels are falling. They're gone. Captain, a phaser is the first resort of the incompetent.
This seems pointless.
Forget it.
Jim, this isn't funny. Says here that you have the temperament of a computer.
Thank you, Doctor. I was not aware that your tricorder was capable of making such subjective analyses.
Mr. Jons, you've got to learn to calm down that personality of yours. Let's see. Young human male, given to unnecessary and hazardous rock climbing activity.
Very funny.
Let's see. It says that doctors don't need tricorders for self-diagnosis.
Then your machine is giving an incorrect analysis.
Bravado I can appreciate, but such a violent display is more of a response I would have expected from Klingons.
Thank you for telling us you've associated with the Klingons.
One group got points for style.
Points for style? Is this some sort of game?
A game, a contest, perhaps a quest is the best description for what is transpiring. Mr. Jons might even refer to it as a religious vocation.
A contest suggests there is a prize.
Oh, there is a prize. First, you will discover that the Gammans are eating their way out of their enclosure, and after 1 million or so years, will have completely terraformed this world. It will be very impressive. In addition to that, you have been given the gift of knowing the name of my creators, and the creators of all this. They are the Brassica.
I'm not clear on who the Brassica are.
Captain, from this side.
A religious vocation? That carries with it a compulsion that allows no compromise. What if we do not want to participate in your contest?
Not participate? Given that yours is a quest for knowledge, to explore new worlds and new civilizations, my creators cannot imagine that you would not want to complete the quest. Granted, theirs is not a new civilization. Still, you will want to meet the Brassica, I think.
I'm certain that Skinner had the same opinion about his pigeons.
Perhaps you have had experiences with other entities that have brought suffering to you, Doctor. I can assure you that our goals are nobler than that. In the end, you will find that the rewards will justify your effort. If you reach the end, of course.
I'm not clear on... We will not kill to entertain you. We want nothing to do with your quest.
Not participate? Given that yours is a quest for knowledge, to explore new worlds and new civilizations, my creators cannot imagine that you would not want to complete the quest. Granted, theirs is not a new civilization. Still, you will want to meet the Brassica, I think.
I'm certain that Skinner had the same opinion about his pigeons.
Not another alien race with a superiority complex. Who are you this time?
I am Cicissa, a projection of a synthesis of Azrah and Vizznr. Clearly you know that the primitive life forms you have been dealing with are incapable of creating that in which you now stand. You will also note that the more demonic of the creatures displayed a passivity you did not expect, while the morally pure creature was aggressive and bloodthirsty.
The contradictions were noted and duly dealt with. I take it you were testing us on our ability to deal with disparate and contradictory inputs.
Yes, your reasoning ability was being tested.
Jim, no, don't!
What happened? Did we...
Captain, message incoming from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, we've just received a transmission from an advanced alien race showing us your actions on Onius 2. They told us that they've lost all interest in communicating with the Federation because of them. Kirk, I am removing you from command. Captain Spock, you ought to take the Enterprise to Starbase 6, where an inquiry into the actions of its former commander will convene.
Admiral.
That's an order, Captain Spock.
Yes, Admiral.
Richards, out.
I'll pray for you, sir.
Captain, message from Starfleet.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. I'll be frank, Kirk. Starfleet expects more out of you than that. If I were you, I'd do some serious soul-searching about my command ability. I would expect as much from a cadet, but from Starfleet's finest. I'm going to have to forward my concerns to command. Kane out.
Mr. Sulu, set course for Starbase 6, warp factor 3.
Aye, sir. Course laid in, warp factor 3.